We're going to go to Rick Buchanan. Rick is a longstanding member and founder of one of the Tea Party groups in Virginia, and he's made some decisions on some of these upcoming races, and he'll be at the Advance with us the next several days. Rick, good to have you with us, man.
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me on.
All right, no problem. Now, Rick, share with our audience, I know you've been involved in the Tea Party movement in Virginia for some time. Can you just give them a quick framework of what you've been involved in and what you do now in politics in Virginia?
Well, I am currently the chairman of the Virginia Tea Party Patriot Federation, which is a statewide organization of approximately 40 conservative groups band together to share ideas and have like minds in many ways, and then in other ways we're like feral cats. There's no organizing us at all. So I'm also the vice chair of the 5th District Congressional Committee in Virginia here. So I'm having fun. I'll tell you, John, it's a great day in the neighborhood. Donald Trump is setting the world on fire. He's turning things upside down, and I wasn't originally a supporter of Donald Trump, but boy, am I now.
So, Rick, a lot of people think that the Tea Party movement has petered out, that the momentum that your organization had, especially 2010, and then to some extent 2014, has really kind of died out, and there's no longer really a quote-unquote Tea Party movement. How would you respond to that?
Well, we have changed. We've metamorphosized into. We made the decision on the executive committee a few years back that we weren't going to be we weren't going to start a separate party or a third party. We were going to work with the party that closely aligned with our principles, which, of course, is the Republican Party. And so a lot of our group, a lot of our leaders have now become leaders in the Republican Party. They're serving on the state central committee. They're committee unit chairs. They are members of different Republican units, but they're still Tea Partiers.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you've kind of integrated in now. Rick, you've been around the Tea Party movement, obviously, in Virginia for a long time, and I understand that you're making some commitments or choices in some of these upcoming races, Attorney General, Governor, and Lieutenant Governor on the Republican side. Can you share your thoughts on that, Rick?
Well, early on, I endorsed Jill Vogel for Lieutenant Governor. Jill has worked closely with the conservatives here in Fauquier County, where I'm from, and is a good friend of mine, and we've shared ideas, thoughts, and she's helped us with fundraisers and done all sorts of things. I really like Jill. She's a great person. I think she's the best choice for Lieutenant Governor. And just recently I endorsed, rather controversially, Ed Gillespie, who wasn't a controversy for me. In fact, my first one-on-one meeting with Ed Gillespie was at the Advance last year, and we've been corresponding and meeting throughout the year, discussing a wide range of issues. And I went into the conversation not with a prejudice and not not looking back, but looking forward to see where Ed stood now on the things that he that are important to me. And we, for I would say 90% of the issues, share exactly the same feelings on the issues that are important to Virginia today, at least the ones I feel are important.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so your endorsement of Ed Gillespie is certainly ahead of the Advance meeting here at the Omni Hotel where I am now in Richmond. Got a lot of notice by people because some people think, well, Ed Gillespie is more representative, let's call it the establishment wing, whatever name you want to say, of the Republican Party, and not necessarily a lot of Tea Party people going for others. But from what you're saying, you feel that Ed's the guy, right?
That's correct.
Now, one of his opponents, Corey Stewart, is running around saying that basically he's the candidate of the Tea Party. I think he got one of the Tea Party organization's endorsement in 2013 when he ran for lieutenant governor at that convention, Middle Resolution, I believe. So he's running around saying, yeah, I'm really the Tea Party candidate. But so let me just ask you this, Rick. Is your endorsement of Ed, is that indicative of where a lot of your Tea Party faithful followers, brethren, if you will, are going to go?
As I said before, I would, and it's been likened by others, that the members of the Tea Party, the different groups and the different individual members are more akin to feral cats than anything else. And there's you ever try to herd a group of cats? It's so I can't speak for the other members of the Tea Party, that's for sure. But I can sure speak for myself and what I know and what I've learned in one-on-one conversations with Ed Gillespie over a long period of time. And I heartily endorse Ed Gillespie.
So,
now, by the way, I was on the executive committee when Middle Resolution and the Virginia Tea Party Patriot Federation combined our efforts and came up with the favorables that we did. We didn't endorse, but we had favorable candidates. Mark Obenshain was one, and we supported him. And we also supported Corey Stewart, and I worked with Corey Stewart on his campaign. I did a robocall for him, and I did some ads for him, and I was a strong supporter of Corey's. All
right, so you were a Corey Stewart guy for lieutenant governor in 2013. Now he's running for governor, and you've abandoned him. Why?
I didn't say I abandoned him. I just think there's a better candidate, and that's Ed Gillespie.
And tell me why you think Ed can win this race.
Well, I think he cuts a broad swath. I mean, he has reached out. He has reached out to every section of the Republican Party, and I think he plays well in the sandbox. Mm-hmm. He's a nice guy. He comes across well, and his core values are conservative, and yet he's not out there throwing hand grenades. He's just slogging along doing the work that needs to be done to win the election. And he has in mind, he's looking past the Republican primary to the general election. And I think, he really surprised a lot of people when he ran against Mark Warner. He came within an eyelash of beating him, and I think this is the year.
All right, we're with Rick Buchanan. He's the vice chairman of the Republican 5th Congressional District. He's also the chairman of the Virginia Tea Party Patriots, although he says organizing the Tea Party people is like herding cats, so I get that. So tell our audience, you've endorsed Ed Gillespie. A lot of people said, wow, that's why I had you on today. Not particularly expected based on some of the things that we talked about. But if you could, for our audience, Ed Gillespie's message, his conservative bona fides, what is the one thing where you met with him and said, wow, he's my guy? What is it?
Well, I went to Ed with a very small list of issues. The most important issue to me for the future of America and the future of Virginia is changing our education system. One only needs to look at the millennial vote this past election to see that we're training a bunch of socialists. We are educating. We're not educating. We're indoctrinating in our schools. And Ed is a strong proponent of a parental choice. So the time has come for us, as Donald Trump has also said, it's time for us to allow parents to choose the educational process that their kids go through. And shipping kids off to public school anymore, and I don't want to denigrate the teachers out there and the good school board members that I've been working with on Ed's education committee. I don't want to denigrate anyone, but the system is set up incorrectly, and as everybody has seen, the liberals run the school system, and it's time for us to take back the school system to make our schools great again.
All right. Rick, sounds like you're all in for Ed Gillespie. How does he win?
He gets more votes.
Oh, come on. Look, part of this meeting is, and I'm looking for somebody to tell me this, when you look at the map and you look at the 2016 election, and you look, oh my goodness, we got beat in 3 cities in Northern Virginia by 312,000 votes. We lost Henrico. We lost Montgomery County. We got hammered in Williamsburg. We got slaughtered in Charlottesville. We only won Chesterfield by 4,200. We only won Chesapeake. We should have won that by 20,000. We won by 8. We barely carried Virginia Beach. I mean, these are strongholds. And then, of course, the Republicans and my candidate, I was the chair of the Trump campaign. I mean, we got annihilated in Richmond. I mean, you look at these numbers, they take your breath away. So how do you turn around and win in a general election when you look at these numbers that we saw just a month ago?
Well, let me put my Republican, my vice chairman Republican committee hat on for just a moment and say that Ed can't do it by himself, or whoever the candidates are, they cannot do it by themselves. We need to bring more energy into the local Republican committees to get out the vote, to organize. The power, in my opinion, is with the people and with the committees in Virginia. Right now, I tell everybody, I think we have a candidate-based, top-down party, and I think it's time we turn this around to become a grassroots committee-based party, where the power is put into the local organizations, so we can get out the vote to talk to the people at their doors, on the phones, in different venues in localities, and go right to the people. TV advertisements are great, but we need to have more activism on the local level. And I've challenged John Whitbeck and many others in the Republican Party to start putting the power back into the local committees.
Right.
We don't spend any money. The Republican Party does not spend any money, or very little money, on strengthening the committees.
Oh, well, look, you're going to be,
the unit chairs.
We got
learn
this.
different ways to get the vote out, do other things like that. So I think we need to turn this thing around that way.
All right. So by putting money in the local committees, well, look,
it's not just money. Money's the small part of it. It's training. Right. It's new ideas. One of my ideas that I brought up to the committees and that I'm vice chairman of are to get out into the community and do things other than just knock on the door at election time saying vote for my candidate. I mean, it's time for us to branch out and do things, to be part of the community, to become known as part of. Most of the activists that are in the Republican committees that are members do all sorts of public service work, but they're not recognized.
Rick,
as Republicans.
I got to roll, man.
I think it's time
I'm getting the bottom of the hour. I got to roll,
recognition.
Rick. I'm out of time. I want to thank Rick Buchanan for being with us. Rick, keep sending your ideas out. We'll see you in the next several days here at the Omni Hotel in Richmond. Thanks for being with us. Big news, Rick Buchanan, head of the Tea Party Patriots in Virginia, endorsing Ed Gillespie in advance of the advance. A little bit of a play on words. Keep it right here on the John Fredericks Radio Network, Trucking the Truth. I'll be right back.